friends. My name is Ludmil, and I'm DevRel contributor at Near DevHub. Welcome to this month's Tools Community Call. Those are informal sessions where we share updates, discuss and present tooling projects from the ecosystem. If you want to get involved, join the reach out in our Telegram group. You can find the links for down in the description below. On today's call, a part of the friendly, familiar faces of amazing contributors in our ecosystem, I'm glad to be joined by representatives from the teams of Lucid, Hot Labs, and Peeryst, which recently were selected for maintaining onboarding tools such as Wallet Selector, FastAuth, and OneClick Connect. Additionally, we are joined by Guillermo, lead DevRel at NearDev. And also, just last minute, Zahid has joined around. You might remember him from quite a few couples of calls ago on Jutsu. Zahid has been around Near for quite some time now, and he's also going to be sharing some updates with us of what he has been up to. So I suggest we start with the Wallet Selector, and recently Wallet Selector had a proposed beta version 9, which effort was led by Guillermo, but it also had other contributors to it, like Trentin, Matthias, and a few more. Guillermo, can you just quickly talk us over of what this beta version is including?
Yes, of course. Can I share my screen here? I think
yes,
I should be able. Yes.
Yeah.
This will take over. Yes. Okay. So I will, keep it sweet and short. The main idea of the new wallet selector is that there are two important wallets, Bite Wallet and Mynear Wallet, who they used to work by. You will want to sign a transaction or login, and they will just reload the code, the page. So, like for example, if we were here in Hello Near, I will click into login, and then I will be going away from localhost, in this case, because I'm working locally, right? Like from the localhost to the page of Mynear Wallet, and then I will be brought back. And now with version 9, we made some substantial changes into those wallets. So now you log in a completely separate tab. And what that allows you to do, or like what that allows devs to do, is that they don't have to worry anymore about like, okay, my application is just load. Is it because, the user just loaded the app, or because they logged in, or because they signed a transaction? Now you just treat the Mynear wallet as any other wallet out there. In like, for example, Meteor Wallet. In Meteor Wallet, you always had this thing where it will open apart, and then you will have to log in a separate page. And the same was happening before for and Bite was having like similar, not problems, but like a similar interface where it will just like open on the same page. And therefore like reload for like completely your application, and now it's just like opening on the side again. So now Wallet Selector, all of the wallets in Wallet Selector will not stop your normal user flow, which is very nice. And then there are like other minor improvements, such that it loads faster, it knows faster if you're signing in or not. But I would say that the most important part is that now all of the wallets just don't stop the flow of your application. They open separately, and then you interact with them separately, and your application never has to be like guesstimating if it was like they just loaded the page. No, they actually are coming back from a redirect from login. No, they are coming back from a redirect from signing a transaction. So yeah, hopefully we're aiming to release it by Friday. We are just polishing, when you do npm install, we want to see fewer warnings because dependencies need to be updated. And every time you update that, like anyone that works with JavaScript knows that as soon as you update one dependency, it's hell. So now we're just dealing with like all the functionalities there. We're just dealing with, like making sure that the installation is smooth, that you don't have any problem if you want to use near API 4, any near API 5, that you don't have to, go guesstimating also, like should I use npm, yarn, pnpm, or what? Like, and we want it to work everywhere, which in JavaScript means that we have a lot of like, little things to train. But yeah, hopefully we'll release it by this Friday.
Amazing, thanks. And talking about Wallet Selector, we have Clemens who presents Lucid team, which have been selected to maintain or take over maintenance for Wallet Selector. Clemens, can you talk a little bit about yourself, your team, and perhaps your proposal? I will put down the link to it right
Absolutely.
now. Good to have you
Thanks.
around, by the way, and thanks for taking such a heavy task. So,
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. First of all, for those who don't know me, I'm Clemens. I've been in the Near ecosystem for 3 years now. I first started as a grantee to the Near ecosystem, building out small little applications in 2022. Then I joined the Near Foundation in 2023, where I worked in ecosystem relations for close to a year. Before I decided to go back into building applications around last year, build smaller applications using conditional payments. Took the conference app NearCon to the universities of Oxford and London Business School. And I've been just dabbling in various little applications. I've been taking a very product-focused approach to everything I've done here. And I think that's why the Wallet Selector proposal has been so interesting to us, just because we really see the amount of friction that there still currently exists for the average consumer to enter Web3. There's a very high requirement when it comes to software and wallets that people are already familiar with for an end user to even interact with Near. And this is something that we've consistently been facing. And I think this is sort of the approach we want to take into dealing with the Wallet Selector. We really want to focus on simplification. We want to make sure that we can make an experience that is A, simple for the users, and B, for the app developers as well, that gives them enough modularity to really, decide to what extent do they want to have users select wallets, or do they want to just be able to log in with passkeys, and so on and so forth. And I think there's been a lot of really interesting points brought up within the the RFP itself. And I think the examples of near intents or near AI, I think have been fantastic, because it does show significant improvement. Although I still think we can go that one step further. And I think for that there's a handful of different comparable software kits in the EVM ecosystem that I think are worth looking at. And we really want to make sure that we have a very design-focused approach, one that works, for app developers like ourselves, as well as for the average user connecting with these applications, whether they're near veterans or just first-time crypto users looking to try out a product. Because I think at the end of the day, what we want to focus on is selling products and not crypto. And I think that's where you really want to make sure you're able to reduce as much friction as possible. In terms of the team that we have, so I'll just be in the coordinating role, but the main lift will be carried by Valerio, who couldn't make it to this call today, but he used to work with me at PwC. As a software developer with over 26 years of experience across banking grade applications and solutions for major European banks. We built the mobile banking apps for Italy's largest bank together while at PwC. And we've also dabbled around a lot in the DeFi space, building near contracts. And he additionally also brings with him a lot of experience in building DeFi on Samsung. So that's just a bit of more color and background on sort of who we are and what our approach is towards this project.
amazing. And obviously, I believe that your work still haven't started, because there's like quite a other things before you can be set up to take over. But can you share a little bit about your milestones for the upcoming months?
Yeah, so for the milestones that we're still going back and forth with legal on that, just to move it back maybe a couple more weeks, because there's been quite a large delay in sort of getting through the administrative stuff. But once that is nailed down, we'll definitely look to share that with you through the appropriate channels.
Amazing. That's great to hear. I would put down to the link below your initial proposal. But as things settle, we'll share more updates, perhaps even in the next Tools community call next month, when things are cleared out. Thanks a lot for sharing that with us. And do you guys, anyone of the call has any questions for Clemens or something that you want to add? And that's pretty much good to go. Thanks.
I have a bit of context there. So we actually chatted with Clemens before he submitted the proposal and identified the pain points and shared that it's a common pain from near dev side of trying to provide the best experience on near, and also the wallets that are they need to support certain standards, and we need to align with the standards. So it's a lot of work actually to pull out. And I just want to remind everyone that there are mobile apps, Telegram wallets, web wallets, web extension wallets, and you can interact. You may open a web app that would require a wallet on your mobile, and then you would need to be able to redirect to the application instead of scanning a QR code, because that's pointless to scan a QR code when you're already on a mobile device. So there are so many different corner cases to consider, and we need to multiply it by various near features that are out there. Signing with adding an access key, signing without adding an access key, signing a message, signing a transaction and not sending it, but instead redirecting back to the application and let application to send the transaction, support meta transactions. So sign not a transaction, but a delegate action on behalf of the user and send it back to the application and let them to send that delegate action to the layer. So this is what was actually delaying a lot of work for Bitte wallet. They wanted to build a integrated experience for app developers, but without Wallet Selector features, it was either developers would need to integrate directly with Bitte wallet, and give up on any other wallets, or create this either or build basically the Wallet Selector themselves. And we've seen Near Intense and Near AI Hub actually went that path. They just used their own integration with the wallets of their choice and implemented the integration from scratch. And we don't want every single team in Near ecosystem to do that over and over again. That's just totally pointless and painful experience. Also, I want to mention that there are, in addition to various wallets and various features of the Near, there are also applications on different platforms. So as a developer, I want to build a native mobile app for iOS, for Android. So those are Swift or Kotlin SDKs that are needed. So those are not web applications anymore, and Wallet Selector is currently exclusively sitting for a JavaScript web platform, basically. And if we do not design the proper protocols, we will have to re-implement all that logic for every single wallet on all the platforms, and that is just not a good direction to go. So I'm excited to hear to see the proposal from Lucid. I'm also looking forward for what Hot will propose from their side, because they were also selected to work on this protocol design, and hopefully we'll see a better future for the Wallet Selector in general, and finally get the apps having the superb user experience for the end users.
Yeah, Hop team was, they were actually invited, but they were not able to join today's call. So I hope that we can get them on the next call, because when Lucid was selected for maintaining the current version of Wallet Selector, Hot was selected to further develop it and enhance it. So I hope that we can get them on the next call and talk a little bit more of what would be coming up next from them. So yeah, thanks a lot for putting up the context, Vlad. Any questions, something to add by anyone else? Otherwise, I would like to invite Fern from Peeryst, which were selected to take over two other key components for onboarding solutions on here, and that's FastAuth and OneClick Connect. We knew for some time, like since actually FastAuth started being a thing, it was quickly used by quite a lot of people, and we saw that it made a very big impact on the ecosystem and like onboarding in general. So this is yet another important project. And Fern, if you can talk a little bit about your experience, your proposal, and your team, that would be amazing.
Sure. Yeah. So first of all, hi everyone. First time on this call. Glad to be here, and hopefully you'll see us more, and maybe with some other team members, including our CTO here, because I think he will be the best suited for these calls. But yeah, just as a quick introduction, so I'm Ferran, I'm the CEO of Peeryst. We've been building blockchain product for 9 years now. So we've been started building products on one of the first proof of stake chains, which was called NEM, back in 2016. And since then, we've been working shoulder to shoulder with different foundations to build core products. So we've been maintaining core wallets and core products with different protocols for a long time right now. We have been mostly recently working with companies like Ripple, where we are one of the main contributors. We are building the equivalent of the Aurora on the Ripple space, which is called the XRP LEVM sidechain, but we've been doing many other stuff there. With Near, also we've been contributing for 3 to 4 years now. You may recognize Near Mobile Wallet, which is one of the products our team has been building, which has been one of the largest used wallets on the ecosystem. And we are still very actively maintaining and improving it. And during the last 2-3 years, we also been contributing to Near more in the B2B side. We've been implementing solutions for large organizations, such as Grupo Nutresa in Latin America, to tokenize all the loyalty points Nutresa. It's a company of about 50,000 people, so you to realize. And also we've been doing last year an integration with Lulo Bank, which is also a digital bank in Latin America, and we've been doing this implementation. So yeah, long story short, we've been a long time on the ecosystem in the blockchain space, long time with other ecosystems. We've been contributing to many of them. With Near, we've done multiple implementations, and most of them has been very focused on user experience and onboarding. So for Near Mobile, we are very obsessed with the UX and the UI and trying to make the onboarding as easy as possible. For the banks or the multinational projects, people didn't even know they were using blockchain, so the level of abstraction was even higher. And we've been trying to work on these solutions, and we thought that we were qualified to apply for FastAuth and OneClick Connect because we will be one of the main users as well for them on our products. So yeah, I think that's an introduction.
Great. And can you share a little bit more from your proposals, if you have them at hand? I have put link down below on them, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. Basically, well, same as Clemens, we are still, back and forth with legal to get all the things on point. So there's not a super big progress, let's say, or anything that I will mention now. It's legally binded yet, but I can share some stuff. Basically, what we've been doing is for OneClick Connect. For those interested, the design we've put in the proposal was kind of well curated. So that will continue as it is. We've been sharing this design to the Near Infra Committee and to some of the main stakeholders, and everyone seems to be happy with that. So the design and the proposal is what you guys can expect as a product. And as you can see, we have a couple of milestones, but basically we have a fields milestone to build the product in 6 weeks from the signature. And then we will have a first version. We will encourage people on the ecosystem to use it. And as a developer tool, we will gather feedback to keep improving it to a newer version. Also, we do have the intention to integrate this and also FastAuth with Wallet Selector to provide a seamless user experience. So hope to collaborate with the Lucid and the hot teams on these integrations as well. And as a third milestone, very similar to FastAuth as well, it's to use chain signatures to basically get all these products completely multi-chain and being used out of the Near ecosystem as well as a blue chip products on the industry. That's the plan for OneClick Connect. For FastAuth, 3/4 of the same. We've had a more difficult time with FastAuth because there was almost no documentation for the first version and almost no one to ask how everything was set up. So it was difficult for us to figure out. But we've made a design proposal for FastAuth 2, and we've been implementing a proof of concept to make sure this is something that it's doable. And it seems to be true. We shared that also with the infra committee. They seems to be happy. As I can't get super technical here, unfortunately, but as a highlight, basically we are going to use Auth0 in order to as a third-party service instead of self-hosting for more reliability, uptime, and scalability. We will share more details on that as well. And then the following phases are quite similar, but we expect to have a first version in maximum 8 weeks. Probably we'll have it prior than that. And then we will do a migration of all the users from FastAuth 1 to FastAuth 2. That's another complex process because there's in the order of millions of users here. So we will need to be very curated and do it in a decentralized way, so no one has full access of the keys at any given point of this migration. And then we will collect this integrators feedback and try to improve with this feedback, integrate on Wallet Selector, and make it multi-chain. So that's in a nutshell a roadmap for the products that we still have right now, but I'm sure I will have much more details over the coming weeks.
Amazing. Thanks a lot. Does anyone have any questions for Ferran? Or Vlad, do you want to add any more context to it?
No additional context yet. Indeed, Near Mobile is one of the widely used wallets on the mobile platform for Near, and we saw that there was a lot of interest from the team to contribute to the Near ecosystem and evolve the user experience to the next level. So I'm really excited to see such teams apply for the infrastructure committee, call for participation and propose their funding. They're making their proposals to contribute there. Guillermo.
Yes, I wanted to get the opportunity to ask about FastAuth. Is it going to be compatible, with the previous version, in the sense that, we used to be able to log in with GACDS at whatever, right, with gilead@near.org, and that will give me like a specific account, like a Near account. Now, in the new version of FastAuth, when I do log in with my same email, will I get, recover that previous email version, or this is just like same functionality, but we're starting all over again?
Yeah, as I mentioned, don't take anything for granted. That from what I will say. But the idea is that yes, the migration is going to be compatible and it's going to be no input from the user. So basically, if we do it properly, we should be able to migrate FastAuth 1 to FastAuth 2, and one day the users log in and they are on FastAuth 2, but they don't have to do there is no friction, let's say, in terms of user experience, and all these accounts will be migrated with the same data. That's the plan, or at least what they told me right now.
Zahid, I see that you raised your hand.
Yeah. So I remember back in Jutsu, like when we were building the IDE, so we wanted to add FastAuth, but the challenge there was we had to kind of use that time. I think they were using Firebase. Now you are saying you are going to use Auth0. But what if as a platform, not like a user, if I want to use FastAuth kind of a social login, can I host in my ecosystem? So let's say I want to host my instead of depending on kind of Auth0 or Firebase, because the last implementation when I saw that, it was it's just a social login implementation, right? It's not how I'm just asking because if you want, there are two types of user. One is a user that are using FastAuth from a website, but then there are platforms who want to include FastAuth as a login mechanism. So have you thought about this separation of concern? And you also mentioned about decentralization. If you could, someone have to have access to Auth0, because Auth0 is just you're probably using their API key. So how does that will work?
That's kind of deeply technical for me at this moment. I will ask the team. But yeah, if I had to guess somehow, I think on one side we have the MPC that you can still use. Then there is this authentication part. This is what we are going to basically delegate to Auth0 because it's more secure or decentralized than if we do host that part. Also, in terms of infrastructure and scalability, having these in a third party, let's say, instead of in a less professional team like our infrastructure, I think it's more secure. And in terms of self-hosting, to be honest, I'm not sure, but maybe you will have the option of using the MPC, but have your self-hosted version of FastAuth. But yeah, I need to check with the team on that.
The last thing is Near already have an MPC server, right? So it's using for different purpose, but have you considered using Near MPC server to kind of store those the private key or whatever? So
yeah. So the keys will be stored on the MPC. So the Auth0 it's another component. So the keys will be stored in the new MPC, but for the authentication piece, there will be some sort of usage of this service. I need to be honest, let our team in because he will probably give you very easy answers to these questions. But maybe on the next call we can have Adria here, or if you like, we can chat also on Telegram.
Amazing. Yeah, well, we hopefully can have them joined on the next call, and things would be a little bit more settled with a clearer plan for pretty much every one of us. And so, yeah. Sasha, I see that you have your hand up.
Hey, everyone. I have a question. I'm not sure, is it related to the Wallet Selector or OneClick Connect or FastAuth? How do we plan to utilize passkeys as a sign-in method? Where should it be done from your perspective? I think that at Near Intense, right? It looks quite cool there. So would be nice to have it implemented for the entire Near system as well. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Sasha, but I heard you very, very hard. You were breaking up for me. I don't know if it was just me.
Yeah, it's same for me. Sasha, maybe you can...
I think I actually got the question. So the question is, where should login with passkeys live? And how is the flow gonna look like? Is it going to be like a wallet selector thing? Is this going to be like was that your question, Sasha?
Yes, correct. Sorry about the quality.
No worries. I don't personally know the answer, but I did get the question.
I think maybe as an input, I think it can live in different places. So potentially you should be able to just connect FastAuth, for example, and just get this as a form of login. Then other option, it's, for example, you add Wallet Selector, and then Wallet Selector may have FastAuth also included there. So then you have a wider range of options where you can choose from. Or you can just add a couple of near wallets, for example, or EVM or other kind of wallets, right? So I think this is up to the product itself or the app itself to add that. For example, I think on Near Intents they have passkeys, and then they have Wallet Selector among other selectors, let's say, not just the Near one. So yeah, that's part of the product itself. And then OneClick Connect lives on the app side as well. So for example, if you are on Near Mobile and you click on the app and you open it and the app has OneClick Connect supported, then you will be automatically connected. So then you don't need to use any kind of other authentication mechanism to start using the app, because you will be automatically connected with your wallet, right? But yeah, that's different levels. I think they have some overlapping, and this will be very up to the app to define what login mechanisms they allow.
Thanks. Yeah, well, I would like to thank both Clemens and Ferran for joining us today, and yeah, representing their teams and their intentions. Once again, congratulations on your proposals being accepted. We know that it's a heck a lot of work, so good luck. And I'm sure that us, my team, and the entire community would do our best to support you in your endeavor. Because yeah, the entire ecosystem can get a whole lot easier if we solve like those onboarding solutions. So let's see. And with that, we earlier on the call we mentioned that Wallet Selector had a new beta release. That's the version 9, well, to be released. But also in the previous month, there was an update to the SDK for Rust smart contracts. And also there have been some updates on the Python SDK. So Vlad, can you input us a little bit of like what has been going on around, at least just briefly?
Sure. Well, just a quick reminder, this year started like a storm with us actually having some breakthrough implementation of Python SDK for contract development on Near. So you can finally use not only Rust, JavaScript, Zig, C, C++, but also Python. And actually, right after that, there was an announcement of Go SDK. So if you're interested about that, also check out the community updates in the chat. On the Python SDK front, I was able to actually actively use it for the past, what did I do, like 3 or 4 quests that I created for the community on a weekly basis. And it's in a fairly stable state at the moment, but we're still exploring better. So it is feature complete. You can use all the host functions and cross contract calls, whatever you want. But through that experience of using that, we identified some pain points, and we're trying to address the usability concerns, especially around the storage. So historically, just to brief you on it, in Rust SDK, this is our role model, has been for a while, that we used for all the new SDKs we offered. In Rust SDK, you center your smart contract functions around methods of a single struct that you define in your contract. So you define a struct with your fields, and then you implement methods for the struct. So you do impl block, and those methods will, and you annotate it with near attribute, near macro, and it will automatically do some magic for you and expose those methods is top-level smart contract functions that users can call. That works fairly well for Rust implementation, for Rust developers, I would say. But for Python developers, looking at such code, when we try to structure it around classes, we found some of the magic around using that and using those interfaces. So let me share the screen so I can maybe illustrate it better. So we actually have this already live on Docs, thanks to our amazing DevHub contributors and Guillermo leading this effort to bring it up to speed, and also Ricky, who contributed to the documentation in the first place. So building the contracts, quick start. There is a Python tab along with Rust and JavaScript. How to install it, that's not something that we want to talk about it right now. So this is how, let's start with the Rust version. Rust version, you wanted to define the struct with the state that will be loaded automatically for you on every function call magically. And it feels like your program never is ever running, so it's just never ends, and you can execute the methods at any point. And in Python, it would look like this, fairly similar. So you define a class, you inherit it from a contract, and then you define the methods, the functions that will be exposed on the contract level. You define the parameters. So this is all the same. And we had this self.storage concept, and we had two other alternative versions of it using the global storage with a capital letter object that you can interact with. So far we are not settled on this API. I find it a bit potentially misleading and could potentially cause some problems if this storage collides with the name of the function and many other corner cases that we discussed. So this is still work in progress, but there is a lot of discussion going on in the Rust, in the Python tooling community on Telegram. So if you want to join and chip in and contribute there, share your opinion, feedback, that would be very helpful. So I hope there will be a link in the description of the video.
Yeah, I've already shared it here in the chat, and I would have it in the description down below. In terms of naming functions, but we still have, we do have similar cases, similar corner cases with the REST SDK. I believe you are not able to name your functions new, for example, something like that. So yeah, curious to know what are other common pitfalls that this pattern might implement. If you,
I think the main motivation for me to change this approach was with the feedback that I was hearing from many of the developers who couldn't grasp this concept that we tried to impose, that it's just imagine the program never shuts down, it's always there. I think while that is a nice concept, it was still very hard for developers to grasp and think about it as a ever living singleton kind of thing on the blockchain. So we decided to go with simpler approach, which is define the functions. So def, function name, parameters, and throw a decorator on it. Those are fairly common concepts for projects like Fast API in Python world, and what was another one? Flask as well. So micro frameworks for web development that a lot of developers in Python ecosystem are very familiar with. So we are trying to model it around those familiar APIs.
Guillermo, I know that you have been somehow part of the talks about this API. Do you want to share your opinion or anything to add?
But to be honest, I don't think that there's much more to be said. I'm very excited about this, and I really like, this is always like how Vlad works, which is he's always open to, feedback and actually changing things. So more than saying thank you, Vlad, and and also
Thank you for the feedback.
and also kudos to Damian for working on the documentation, and Ricky. Like, besides that, I don't think I have nothing else to say.
Yeah, mentioning Ricky, I was trying to get him to join this call as well because he simply could not make it to the last one, but unfortunately it was bad timing for him. But I certainly hope, and I'm going to ping him right after this call to save the date for the next one, so we finally see the man himself, and he himself to present all the amazing work that he did for the past couple of months. Actually, I think it was like 1.5, and we got to this stage very, 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 very fast. So thanks again for the effort of all contributors, and Ricky, hope to see you on the next call, man. So, and that would conclude the Near SDK Python. And as I mentioned before, we had some minor release of the Rust SDK, which included, I believe, some macros and some cleanups. Did I get this correct? Let me quickly open. So,
There was an important release that we didn't cover, 5.10 on the Rust SDK, which added a new attribute that you can add to your function to any of your smart contract function to deny any unknown parameters that are passing to your that can be passed to your function call. You may ask why that is. Let's talk about what it is in the first place. So the parameters to function calls in Near ecosystem are usually, you are not limited, but usually you can you pass them by passing the JSON object. And JSON object with the fields of the JSON object matching your function argument names. If you pass anything extra, anything like blah blah colon 10, it will be just silently ignored. It's totally fine and safe. It doesn't affect the execution of the smart contract in any way, and it's usually even good to many of the smart contracts because you can potentially have multiple versions of the smart contract, and the latest version would accept more parameters, and the previous version would just simply ignore more parameters, and then your UI will be passing the parameters and it will be ignored, which is most of the time is fine, and even can be considered as future-proof and brings you better compatibility for the future releases, so you can easily count on adding more parameters in the future without breaking the interface with the old contracts. But there are use cases which are more sensitive to the for the users, such as tokens transfers and, for example, DAO voting, where adding like if you pass more parameters, the contract will be fine, but there could be malicious actors adding more parameters to your function call, making it look like a legit one, making it look like you are sending the tokens to the proper account name, but the proper account name will be actually just there as a misleading name, whereas the actual parameter will be somewhere down the line, and user may not see it in their JSON object when they are reviewing the transaction in the wallet or on the ledger device. So to prevent those cases, we introduced this on the SDK level. You can deny unknown arguments to be passed in your functions to ensure that only the relevant parameters are handled, and no garbage should be appended there. This was a reaction to the hack of Gnosis Safe project, which was basically a dependency supply chain attack where JavaScript dependencies were introducing some fake UI. The UI was showing that you're sending the money to the proper account. But the transaction itself that was displayed on the ledger device was actually gibberish because it was Ethereum chain, if I remember correctly, and it's always unreadable in any way. But on Near, the transactions can be reviewed, and we wanted to provide full review power to the users and avoid any confusion possible there. So we introduced these measures on the Sputnik DAO level. And for that to introduce, we added this functionality to Near SDK REST. So pretty long explanation where we all started and where it all ended, but it was $1+ billion hack end of last year that was not properly addressed in the ecosystem either. So we decided to be a bit more proactive.
Sasha says learning on others' mistakes. And yeah, well, that's a costly mistake. And indeed, this hack, not only this hack, but there were many other cases where people have been tricked into signing transactions that are malicious. And since all these transactions are gibberish when you see them to be signed on EVM and probably other chains, I'm not quite sure, don't quote me on that. So a lot of these scams are actually happening. So that's a fortunate a fortunate lesson to be learned. But here we are, and so that's an important macro to be added indeed. So I think that for any relevant contracts that are handling large amount of assets or trading and so forth, though having that kind of a macro would be a huge plus to begin having and utilizing. And thanks a lot for both of the updates. And last but not least, as I said before, we had lovely Zahid around who just jumped in last minute, and we are always happy to have around. And Zahid said that he would be able to share some updates of what him and his team has been up to. So Zahid.
Yeah. So hey everyone, I'm Zahid. I think I'm also in Near ecosystem probably almost 2 years or 2.5 years or something like that. But always love to build something interesting. So some of you know about the Jutsu was a IDE for BOSS blockchain operating system, if anyone remember. I know a few people know. But then after that get dropped, so we focused on kind of a mostly AI because of my background. Some of you know, like I was in kind of a building AI system in the past. So currently, we are helping Near AI team to kind of build a TypeScript SDK. So some of you probably use their Python SDK, and I'm a kind of a JavaScript builder, and I love how easy it is to kind of build something quickly using TypeScript. So the goal for that project is like how fast you can go from 0 to deployment without fighting the system. So like if any one of you used near AI Python SDK, so you know like the version, like a conflict and how difficult it is to kind of just set up your local environment. So we have currently, in terms of progress, we have a CLI, TypeScript CLI, where you can just say npm install near AITS, and then it will install the CLI, and then you will say npm create. So it's more like if you are familiar with creating Create React app or Vercel Next.js app, you should be able to follow the same standard. And all the other complexity that come with it, we are just abstracting it. It's not been easy, but like we are trying to kind of abstracting all this deployment and all the other things that you have to do. We are also kind of following JavaScript or TypeScript standard way of like a coding. So like Python have this a snake case, and then the way you write Python code is not intuitive for TypeScript developer. So we are keeping all the functionalities similar, but like adding more familiar look for TypeScript developer. And the project will be done in 2 weeks. Right now, the latest progress is we can deploy in near hub, but it's still that thing need to get merged to reviewed by near AI team, and then when it get merged, then you will be able to kind of create a full TypeScript app and deploy it on near AI. So that's kind of the main thing that we are doing right now. So probably next, I forget how often you do this thing, but like the next thing will be like if you want to give it a try, the TypeScript SDK. So I want to kind of ask some community member help to kind of give it a try, give early feedback so that we can continuously improve it before it goes to kind of a production. So that's kind of where we are and what we are doing and the goal.
Amazing. Thanks a lot for the Blitz overview of what you have been up to. We have these calls monthly, so every second Tuesday of the month. So perhaps by next month's call, we will be able to share more about what you have built. And if you want to get into the sense of people to receive feedback, just make sure you contact us, and we'll try to propagate this information, create like a group of people that we can get some feedback on for you. So thanks a lot for joining. And then let me just quickly share my screen once again. So that would conclude the call. Once again, I would like to thank you for joining today's call. We have these calls monthly, so if you want to get involved, join and reach out in our Telegram group. So you can find the links for it down in the description below. Meanwhile, if you want to be up to date with the ecosystem, make sure you subscribe to the DevHub newsletter, which goes out weekly. And as a reminder, we also have those DevHub live sessions streamed on all major platforms every Thursday at 4 p.m. UTC. To get to know about further future events as well as other events from the ecosystem, check out the events page on dev.near.org. Thank you very much, and see you on the next one.